was that?
Get to the chopper.
So you might notice I'm out of breath because you'll see an awesome picture at the beginning of this video about this. But anyway, just carried this sucker Tash out here, put it in the old radio flyer, and I'm gonna drag this thing underneath the back of the P-dub, and then we're gonna, you're such a clown. Gonna set it up,
Sound effect.
set it up underneath the back of the truck. I figure with the radio flyer, we can maneuver it just into the right position, get it right underneath the truck, squared away where it needs. Maneuver it right into position with the radio flyer, get it squared right where it needs to be under the truck. And as we lower it down, if we kind of got to adjust where it's located, it'll be perfect because the radio flyer serves as the perfect maneuvering. I don't know. Anyway. Off to Never Neverland. Oh, it's a perfect fit. Hell yeah. Radio flyer for the win. Heck yeah. Hell yeah, radio flyer. Here. Oh.
You really doing this?
Really doing it.
He's been waiting months for this.
About enough, and it actually happens. More or less, that's what we need right there. The Dana is now about where it needs to be. Just need to move my other jack tire conglomeration thing out of the way. We can get a little bit more forward, and then we can, yeah. So I jacked up the truck a little bit more to give us some room so we can get our cool mint blocks in there. And now we can start kind of piecing it around it. Pretty much get the block in there, then get the U-bolt over top, and then the hanger, then the bottom side, and then get it going. So this is gonna go like that. And then on these blocks, they're labeled front and bottom, so that's how you know they're facing the right way. Careful not to scratch the new paint. All right, so that's on there decently. Now we've got to get this lined up under here, so we're gonna have to probably move the jack out of the way. All right, we did a little maneuvering of the radio flyer and the tire with the Dana on here, and we've got the block sitting right underneath where it needs to go. So we'll get the other side matched up, and then we can start getting on our U-bolts and seeing how it fits. Got the bottom side of my hardware painted, reducing all chances of rust. I think I've done a really good job so far of keeping everything rust free and like painting every surface, so there won't be any rust. So here we are over on the driver's side. You can see I've loosely fit the U-bolts over the top of the axle now, and I've got the blocks already in there, and then it's just hanging on the bottom with the bottom mount. So gonna get these bolts started, and we're gonna have to wind up spraying some paint on them because as you tighten them, it's gonna wrinkle the paint and everything, but that's fine. So we'll shoot a little paint on this surface here too. But yeah, we'll pretty much just slowly tighten each one of these up and get this whole thing met down, and then we'll get the other side going. We'll get the passenger side set up. This top little plate goes up here, and you can see where it already been dented from being tightened down in the past. Get the U-bolts over it. Try not to scratch our nice new paint too much, if at all. And then the other one. Okay, now the axle is kind of leaned back a little bit and not really where we need it to be just yet. So we're gonna kind of help guide it into place. At the same time, this bottom bracket goes with the shock mount inboard, and then with this kind of U-shaped bottom facing up to the base of the axle itself. You kind of got to squeeze in the sides of both the U-bolts to get them in there, like that. And then we'll kind of go back side to side and get this tightened down. I've got all the nuts on the U-bolts pretty much snug, but we're still just hanging there a little bit because the axle's wanting to lean back because of the way it's sitting on the radio flyer. So I'm thinking if I jack the truck up, it'll relieve any pressure of the bottom of the axle sitting on the radio flyer, and then the axle's gonna sit cradled here in this bottom mount, and then I should be able to just rotate it forward to the orientation that it needs to go, like this, just to be fully nice and seated, and then we should be good to go and tighten it down. All right, and as we're gonna jack up, you'll see what I'm talking about over on this side. It'll kind of fall into shape. I don't know if you saw it, but right down here, the bottom of the block and the upper perch of the axle met nice and flush. So now it looks like we're sitting the way we need to. And then in the end, my socket wasn't totally long enough to reach in here without it bottoming out on the stud. So 15/16 wrench, got it finished off and just snug down all those bolts, and I'll get under here, spray a little paint, and that's it. That axle is back in the truck. Now all I gotta do is put the backing plates on with the drums, shove the axle shafts in there, get all this stuff out of the way, and then we can throw some wheels and tires on it and take it from there. Now we can get our trusty radio flyer out of there and be soon to getting this truck finally off this sketchy ass rig I've got here. Hell yeah. Look at that thing. Like new. Sweet.